Player housing. Guild airships. Let's just go through all the features.
Yeah.
I was about to say guild helicarriers. No, that's airship. What am I talking about?
Guild airships. Guild airships 2. Guild airships 1 remade. Perfect.
Player skyscrapers. No one's thought of that.
Yeah. It's always houses. What about office buildings like?
Tiny houses.
What about player-run shops?
People are into tiny houses.
Are they? Oh yeah, you could have
van life.
battle pet housing.
Battle pet housing. Oh, that's it. Yeah. Or even something where, you know, if you had player housing, like this little thing where your battle pets could go play in the yard. But I'm sure that's just, I mean, it wouldn't really appeal to me, but for a lot of people.
Guild camper vans.
Guild camper vans?
Yeah.
Well, we've truly went mad.
Oh, Ned Stalker's got a great idea.
Oh.
New profession for capital cities. Bureaucracy. You too can be a civil servant at the class.
Oh, that would be so good.
Oh, and then you've got a little mini plot where you have to stop the next year from taking over. Everyone's all mind controlled. You're like, why the f*** is everyone all mind controlled? What's going on here?
If they put that in as just a storyline,
It'd be so sick.
that would be good.
Okay, well, Onyxia coming back would suck.
Okay, that would
because you're like,
yes.
right, but if some other threat, like even the idea of like some sort of like void or light, like heretic trying to sneak in and change all the bureaucratic process, you're like, this paperwork keeps coming in wrong. What's going on? Hang on. Is this a conspiracy to reduce the efficiency of Stormwind? Damn it. Let's get to the bottom of this. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh dear god.
I mean, that could also be. Yeah, I can't wait for it. The Horde election fraud crisis.
Oh, that'd be wonderful. Yeah.
Oh no! It would be ripped from the headlines, and it would be terrible.
Oh, it would be amazing. It'd be incredible. That'd be really fun.
No, we're fucking around with you. I guess, yeah. The TLDR is we're both thinking that the game is more set up for future success now, and that's really good. I was kind of overwhelmed with other tasks, so Matt took on. We kind of like divvied up some responsibilities like a week and a half ago. Matt took on the classes, and it was really good to the other end, like see that script when it came out. See what's there, hearing you and guys talking about it in guilds, in just our work Slack. It's like, this is really nice. This is really good.
Yeah.
On top of other things being really good. What the hell?
Yeah, it's like, is the game going to suddenly be immensely better? No, but the experience is going to be a hell of a lot better by virtue of being, it's going to be like, this is improved by 5 points out of 10. Not from a 5 to a 10, but from a 2 to a 7. And like, that's still a pretty big jump. All things considered, that's a hell of a big jump. It's like, yeah, I mean, we'll see if, obviously there's 20, I will always say, there are 7 million pitfalls they could jump into at any time because they are just a wee bit mental in that way. Where it's like, sorry, 10.0, like time in app is very low and we've lost token sales. And someone on the top just goes, fucking juice those numbers in or it'll be your head on a platter. And then he has to do something that's like, all right, here's some fucking chores, and then never talk about it in public, and then quit his job in a year and a half. But you know what I mean? Like,
feel like, I feel like the thing there is the MAUs are down, boys. This is boys, the collective Northern Irish colloquialism term. Yeah. Anyway, I don't think they'd be like, Bobby's not asking for Mafia Wars.
No.
Like, imagine saying Mafia Wars in the year of our Lord 2022.
God.
That is definitely saying, hello, I'm a geriatric boomer. Now, what are they called? Geriatric millennials? Is that the term?
Yeah.
Yeah. God, Mafia Wars. Do you remember playing that on Facebook? Mafia Wars in Farmville? God, what weird days.
Fuck.
The thing, though, is I don't think that any bean counter is saying, you must put a mission table in the game because of Facebook games. Facebook games that everyone's playing. Right? I don't think that happens. I think that they will, put professional pressure on those teams, and maybe those teams will have to scramble to come up with an idea for something that players would want. And then maybe because they've been put in that position where they have to scramble to come up with an idea for something that would be engaging, maybe that's why it ends up feeling like a bolt-on or feeling kind of malicious. When in reality, it's just people trying the best at their job, but, you know, the outside influences are just giving them pressure, and, you know, those sort of negative results of that pressure. Because, like, the game dev industries, you know, it's a pretty hard and pretty crunchy place.
Yeah, it's like everyone has a boss there, and at the top end, the big boss is the one who goes, I want more money, I don't care how you do it.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's like coming up with the ideas is sort of the, you know, it's like the easy bit. The bit that's hard is actually implementing the thing, right? And I think what ends up happening is maybe the timelines just get so compressed that they're like, right, we've fucking got to roll with this because whatever happens, we have to implement and balance this thing. Fuck. And then they have to go make the thing. But it seems like we're out of that cycle a bit, and that's really good. That's really good.
Fucking thankfully. It's obviously, that's a case where it's like, how do you get money? And obviously everyone's in this current realm of, and this is something Matt Piscatella, the leader of the NPD group, was saying earlier today. And he was saying, like, all right, the metaverse is dead, and the video game consumers have loudly declared that they don't want blockchain. Can we go back to delivering quality games and selling them, please? And like, yeah, that's going to be always a tried and true way to get actual, like, you want sustainable money, then you're going to have to play the good game where people, you know, will provide value, because the gravy train only runs for so long. That's the way it's been, you know, discussed. Yeah. It's like, you can only, like, exploit consumers for money for so long. And that's a case for any company that wants a long-term result. And I mean long-term, like decently long-term, like fucking 15, 20 years, probably has to play the good game of, hey, consumers, what do you want value-wise? And now that the game industry is getting a little bit longer in the tooth, you very much see that happening, where you see EA throw a load of money into the void, praying for money, and it fucking fails all the time. Obviously, they get lucky with, like, FIFA. Like, Ubisoft kind of get lucky with Assassin's Creed. Like Valhalla printing money, everything else seems to be kind of shit in the bed largely.
When was the last Mass Effect? I don't literally mean Andromeda, but like, oh, what's this? New IP? Yeah. Really engrossing story. Captures the public imagination at large.
Yeah, it's like that's the only publisher who's reliably doing only good things at the minute is Capcom. And they're the ones who, unlike, like, obviously a lot of companies get to sit down and go, hey, our live service, our FIFA, our Valhalla has made this much money, etc., etc. But Capcom get to go every earnings call and say, see all those back catalog games we made a couple of years ago that are really good? They're still selling, by the way. Yeah. And we're making hundreds of millions off it.
They could just be like, we made Monster Hunter Rise. It has no bullshit in it, and it sold 8 trillion copies because it's a really good game. Yeah.
And then we made an expansion for that, and it sold through an obscene percentage higher than, like, any expansion pack in history.
Yeah.
And also, Monster Hunter Rise, when people played Monster Hunter Rise and they ran out of things to do in Rise, because it is a game that gets regular title updates for free with no monetization, because it's a good game, we want to build towards our expansions. People went back and bought Monster Hunter World because it's also a good Monster Hunter game that's currently playable. And then, you know, oh, there's Resident Evil. People are like, hey, we released DLC for Resident Evil Village. And then people played Resident Evil Village and the DLC and then bought Resident Evil 2 and 3 and are going to buy 4. And like, if you make good, especially because that's the one thing we don't do that now, right? Or it's a relatively new thing that games are fairly long in the tooth, because we've always had a couple of year expansions or console cycles, right? But on PC, we're in this world where you make a game and it's not going to be outdated in 4 years. It's going to take 8 or longer, which means you're now in a world where you can just make a game and sell it for a long time at a reasonable enough price if it's good enough. It's like the more publishers catch on to what gives you legs as a business in the long term is happy customers and good products. Yeah, I feel like if people stopped chasing the easy way of making a absolute shit ton of money for minimal effort and as fast as possible, If they started to move away, I think a lot of them would start to find decent, sustainable results, and ones that are a lot easier to actually implement. Obviously, making good games is fucking hard, but from the business's perspective, you have to cultivate the good team and then give them time and stuff.
Making good games, I think, is easier when the goal is to make. When I say this, the goal is to make a good game. Now, I want to be very clear. The goal is to make a good game, and everything naturally comes through that. Yeah. And the things that are your constraints, because constraints are what allow you to make a game. Yeah. Those come from the game experience itself. Maybe that's better than, hey, you have to make a great game, but we're going for a live service, loot-driven, yada, 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 with a weekly rotating store. And no loot boxes, though. No loot boxes, because the gamers don't like that anymore. But a weekly rotating store. And, those are very unhelpful constraints that I think make things feel kind of forced and shitty.
Yeah, I mean, look at Babylon's Fall.
Platinum
Games were like, hey, we're really good at making action games. What if you make one of those live service action games? And then they had no idea how to balance a live service action game, no idea how to balance loot or make it interesting, or even run a store or have cosmetics, because their games are visually fucking terrible consistently, outside of sometimes good art direction.
They are an insane bunch.
Yeah, and you're like, sweet, good work. You just tried to make a game work because you felt the call of money. That's a shit. And Abby, you greedy motherfucker. Yeah. Well, it's not greedy. They're a publisher who want to self-publish and they need to make money. So they basically went, can we hop on this gravy train? And they're like, oh no, it's a shit train. Fuck, we're wrecked.
It's like, hey, you can do Mass Effect Legendary Edition. There's people buying Mass Effect games now.
Yeah.
Do you know why? It's because you made Mass Effect and it's really good.
Yep.
Oblivion. And people always joke about Skyrim and its 8 million releases. I mean,
it's 11 years old today.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's like Oblivion is still a great game.
It's incredible.
You can go play it, have fun. You will.
Yeah.
And there's so many other games like that.
I mean, dated, but it doesn't matter.
Just go Half-Life 2. Go play Half-Life 2. Awesome. Yeah. Right, where I guess there's so many games that, they kind of really put it on to trying to be a live service and it just falls over. And it's like, what do you haven't really got an asset at the other end. Whereas, it's just interesting the types of games that all the big crowd try to make. Anyway,
it's trend chasing for the immediate, the most profitable return that makes them look good. Same with the metaverse stuff. Same with blockchain. I don't think any CEO gives a fuck. I don't think anything that Matsuda, Square Enix CEO, said about blockchain stuff for the fucking play to earn. I don't think he gives a living shit about any of that. I think he's just this is the money maker thing I talk about now. So I'll understand that and talk about it to make money, because we want to make money because we're a company. Obviously, they're pretty okay with make video games reasonably well enough, but
the downfall of FTX. I don't know how up to date you are on that.
Nothing. I don't look at anything anymore.
Okay, FTX is the world's second largest crypto exchange.
Is this all the crypto people losing $8 billion and then asking for government bailouts like hypocrites?
Well, so it's the whole feud between CZ and SBF. I forget. Sam Bankman-Fried is the guy who founded FTX. You've probably seen FTX ads plastered all over the internet. Matt Damon did one. Larry David did a Super Bowl advert for them.
Disgusting.
Big shit, right?
Crypto trailers need fucking shot.
Crashed and fucking burned. And, it's a pity with crypto, because I think the idea of private money that transcends borders, I think that is a very, very interesting idea.
Oh,
right?
I absolutely would love that.
Because, so we, there are, I'm not anti-crypto, anti-blockchain, by default. I'm pissed off at, certain usages and the idea that you can just go and be like, we'll make our own token and we'll get everyone to buy our token and we'll just, well, look at our white paper. We've pseudo Ponzi schemed ourselves into having 8 billion personal book wealth. Woo! But anyway, FTX.com, fucking crashing and burning. People, I don't think we know as much about FTX US, but the point anyway is massive crash in that industry. Yep. And in the same way that Viking crypto MMO, the sort of NFT market kind of just falling out from under itself, and a bunch of those things led to investors getting real frosty. And, that ammo ended up having investors pulling out. I think about FTX going. We, of course, had Terra, the whole Terra situation with that collapse.
Oh.
Like, it's going to start to look a bit weird and risky for Matsuda and Yves Gilmo, who I now want to call Yves Gilmon, because I've been watching Digimon Tamers.
Fuck yeah.
But, these like CEO types, it may be less cool for them in their CEO circles and, in their investor call circles, because, just that. I mean, I forget, Sequoia, that was it. Sequoia, they're one of the large venture firms, I think. But Sequoia have actually wrote off like a 210 million investment in FTX as zero in value. So I think all of this stuff is maybe good news for us in the gaming front, because the sorts of like incentives that perhaps would make the CEOs of some of these large companies really want to investigate these things. I mean, it's bad juju right now, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it was real dire.
Like, it was bad juju fucking last week.
Yeah, it was real dire for a decent while, but it is sort of slightly improving. I think there's far more positive examples to look at than negative, as we're starting to as people are starting to kind of wise up to the sustainability of some of their efforts, I think.
The personal side of it's also really funny, because what got them was a liquidity crisis. And what happened is that Binance sold all of their FTT. FTT was FTX's token.
Yeah.
So they ended up crashing the price of FTX's token. And I think that plus a few other things essentially led to a bank run. But, they'd be able to say, oh, yeah, but like we have enough assets to cover withdrawals. But if a whole bunch of those assets are their own token that then has crashed in price.
Yeah.
So, you have that happening. There's a liquidity crisis. The whole thing explodes. So there's even a bit of because the two of them, it was like, a big public rivalry. And the Binance guy just fucking pushed that domino over and then said, we may acquire FTX pending due diligence. And then the due diligence failed. Meaning it's like, cool, I have just demolished my opponent.
That's
by selling all of my holding in his Ponzi scheme. Therefore, I destroyed his Ponzi scheme. Please come over to mine. Oh, crypto, how fun. But anyway, point there is, if you have been getting worried about these big gaming CEOs talking about crypto all the time, it's probably good news for you that FTX has fallen over.
Yes. Thanks to everyone online taking the piss out of them at every opportunity, they've now been bullied out of doing dumb shit. Which I think leads to the entire takeaway is online bullying works very well when used against corporations. Use that knowledge as you will.
Yeah, it's, oh man. Like, that was like the perfect example. It was in my head and then it went away. Nah, it's gone. Nice. It's gone. Yeah. I guess it's been nice that, in game. I guess that's the thing in gaming. We're so used to a scam, aren't we? Like, we're so used to some, coercive bullshit that, I'd hope a lot of gamers would have seen Terra Luna, or really anything that's just saying, hello, keep your money with us. We'll give you a yield on that's double the S&P 500. Don't ask why. It's fine. It's fine. It's an auto self-balancing system. There's a regulation token. We have some dollars. Because, like, the whole thing with Terra Luna going down fucking wiped out so many people's money. And it's like the same thing with FTX. Like, how many people go watch the fucking Graham Stephan or an Andre Jeek video, and they're like, oh, wow, new coin, Floki Inu. Wow. And then their money's deleted.
Yeah, I hope all of those content creators and crypto shills can sleep very well at night.
Yeah, I have a feeling for some of them it was just, I'm going to talk about Floki Inu. I'm not going to, tell my audience to go, specifically do that. But I think,
yeah, it's a little bit of responsibility.
Yeah, a bit of big things have to go. But anyway, look, so maybe that crypto crash is good news. I don't think we're at risk of, getting an Ando and Rin NFT anytime soon.
No, I think because I don't think Microsoft would do any of that shit. And depending this shit going through, like Microsoft will be in control of Activision Blizzard, which means ideally, especially because Microsoft are going the route of, can we just fucking make games, excluding Halo Infinite being a live service and that going very wrong. Generally speaking, they seem largely going, we're in the interest of delivering Sorry, we have to check the manuscript because we forget what this is. Customer value via video games. I think that's what we're doing here. We'll do that now and everyone will have video games. Fantastic. And obviously they still haven't released any first party stuff because they're getting their internal studios in order. But it'll all be fine. Their video games will be good. Game Pass art. It'll be fine. Under that philosophy, it should be better. Should. Emphasis on should.
Yeah.